Hey, Craig. First of all, thanks for the intro. I love talking to you, and I'm glad that we get to chat about this new tool, and I'm very excited about it. It's called TryMyUI Stream, and this is going to be an instance of. Before I tell you that story, let me tell you this one. The reason we went out to build this tool is because as a company in the usability testing space, we started noticing some limitations in the data that we were providing. Right? And these are things that we had to admit to ourselves, and these are things that we are constantly working on to better. And namely, those limitations are A, usability testing can be pretty expensive, right? Because there's this factor of recruitment. Either you pay me and I recruit the users for you, or you recruit the users yourself. So it becomes hard to scale that data because there's this almost linear increase with the cost of recruitment. The second issue is the nature of the video data, is coming up with a way to find insights, or find clusters of pain points, or find areas of user frustration in the video data. And we've come up with quantitative frameworks, and different companies use different quantitative frameworks, heat maps, so on and so forth. But all they do is kind of approximate user frustration, or try and approximate areas where then you have to go and figure out what was the cause, or what was the instance of user frustration. And again, that becomes hard because the video data is video data. When you look at 300 minutes of video, you have to watch it and rewatch it to get to those insights, and that can be very, very demanding. And I think the last one is almost a philosophical pain point, and that's the fact that even if I hit upon all of my demographics, there is this curtain where I'm still paying someone to do a certain set of tasks on my site, and the feedback is very valuable from that. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely valuable, but a real, true, candid customer, or a real, true, candid user of my site. So these are like the things we're pushing up against when we're talking about user research, and we're like, well, what can we do to capture that, capture a true customer's opinion, and also capture all user sessions, like scale this data. So what we have done, TryMyUI Stream allows you to record every user session on your site. And when I say every user session, I mean every user session. So if you have 10,000 website visits a day, we give you 10,000 user videos that you can watch. Every user session on your site can be watched, and that's great, because you're like, hey, look, I have like this big data of UX, and these are true customers of my site, and I'm looking at them, go through their flows, and I'm understanding the customer's behavior. But you might stop me and rightly ask, well, what am I going to do with 10,000 minutes, 10,000 videos? How am I going to, if I can't watch 10, where am I going to watch 10,000? And that's really where TryMyUI Stream comes into play. What we've done is we've built an AI engine, and it goes through and flags the videos with user frustration markers, and these markers, we've defined them using multiple parameters, but what they are is a distilling of common patterns or common behaviors that indicate user frustration. And the TryMyUI Stream AI engine goes through all of the videos and flags the areas that had user frustration. So now you can say, all right, I had 10,000 videos on my site, of which 1,000 of them had user frustration errors. And you can go from that bird's eye view and say, of those 1,000, these many started on this page, these many started on that page. And then you can do an even deeper dive and say, all right, well, I know that this person, these are my converting pages, and this is where people experience frustration. And then you can go and watch one such video. So it allows you to really go from this big data bird's eye view of the usability of your site and where people are being frustrated, down to one session to quickly find out or isolate that frustration point, and capture it and bring it out. So that's kind of the overview of TryMyUI Stream. I'd say the key is talking about these frustration metrics or these frustration markers, and I'd love to kind of flush those out. So what we have right now are 4 markers, And these are behaviors that if you really reflect, if anyone reflects on their user websites, you've all done before. The first and perhaps the simplest one is rage clicking. And it's if you click on a non-responsive element on your website and you click, nothing happens. What do? You click, 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 click. And that's a very common user behavior that we noticed when we were running these large sets of tests on our core tool. And we're like, all right, well, this is something we can flag. So the AI system immediately flags all instances of rage clicking in the 10,000 videos. The next one is random or random scrolling. So if there's a wall of content, for instance, or if a user is looking for a certain piece of information and it's obscured by the site's layout and by the site's content, they scroll up and down at a high velocity without really reading anything, at a velocity where they're not. It's absolutely clear they're not taking in information. They're actually looking for it and they're not able to find it. So that's the second one. The third one is wild mouse or just erratic mouse movement. And again, this has got a high correlation with user impatience or frustration when there's like slow page load times. You'll see their mouse just dart across screen in random patterns with impatience. And then another one is when they're also, again, looking for a particular piece of information on a screen and they're looking for a button and they're like, moving their mouse around randomly. That's another common user frustration pattern. And the last one is backtracking, and that's got to do with someone who navigates to a page or clicks on a link thinking it's going to take them to a certain page. It's going to take them to a certain piece of information they're looking for on your site, and when they get there they realize this is absolutely not what they're looking for and they back right out of it after some random and wild mouse. So it's these four user frustration markers. They are present in every user session or every user session that had usability issues. So they're a great way to go in there and find out what's happening and what's bothering these users. And these are not metrics like Google Analytics metrics. Google Analytics is great for things like conversion rates, page acquisition rates, looking at the page flows and all of that. But the things that Google Analytics don't tell you. Google Analytics tell you like this bird's eye view of user behavior. What we tell you is why are you having bad conversion rates or why is there a drop off here? We go behind the why, and it's inherently tied to user frustration. So right now we're launching it in a beta. This is new technology. We're very excited about it. And when I say big data, it truly is because we're collecting so much about what the user does and is doing, and right now we're working on coming up with different things that or different analytics or different insights that we can pass on to you. So this is a work in progress, but we do have an open beta out or a waitlist for an open beta out. So you can go to TryMyUI.com/stream and you can try out the demo and join our waitlist. And the waitlist is growing every day, and we're onboarding more people onto the tool, and it's been a great learning experience for us. That's the easiest way to try it out. Join our waitlist. And the demo is pretty cool because what we do for you is we have you go through this quick interactive demo, and we'll play your session back to you immediately. And that's one session of like tens of thousands of sessions we're getting, and it's pretty cool. I think that's the aha moment when you're like, well, I just went through this and I'm looking at exactly what I did, and then I turn around and tell you, well, just like you saw your video, I have every single person's video here. So that's how you can check it out. So yeah, what I talk like the way I like to think about it is what we've done is we've bridged the gap between what to test and how to test it. Right now, all the usability solutions out on the market, and by that I mean not just mine, a lot of the other solutions out on the market, they're all how to test solutions. So you come to me with something in mind, about, you're like, hey, I want to test my new prototype. I have this new flow I want to test. I made this change to a page that I want to test. Then you come to me and I answer the question, well, how am I going to test that flow? I give you all the tools you need to test it. But the question still remains, are you are you sure that this new thing is the only thing you're supposed to be testing? Well, it's new, so yes, you're supposed to be testing it, but is your current live site having issues? Are there pain points that are flying under the radar, areas of user frustration that are flying under the radar simply because they're mired in large amounts of data, and they're buried under something like a number in Google Analytics, which is telling you, your churn rate, and you're like, all right, I know that there's a churn rate, but how does that translate to a user frustration insight for me? And so now what I give you is I give you the ability to form a hypothesis by sussing out areas of user frustration and going in and playing a session and saying, hey, aha, people are having trouble. Or by the way, we started this by putting it on our own website, and it's been on our website for a while, and we've learned some harsh truths about our flows, and we've made some changes. But what allows you to say is like, hey, look, there's a problem on my plans page. People are rage clicking on my plans page, and you go and watch that session, and you will be able to form a hypothesis because it's your page, you created it, of, oh, this is why they're rage clicking. Or at least I'm fairly certain this is why they're rage clicking. And that's great, because when you reach that, you can come back to the TryMyUI core tool, and you've been told that, look, you need to be testing your plans page or your pricing flow. There's a problem there that otherwise would have completely flown under the radar for me, to be honest. Like, this is something that actually happened to us. Our plans page had a problem where it was causing people to navigate away to a non-converting page. And we put TryMyUI stream on it just to see whether TryMyUI stream would work. And then we see these sessions, and I was like, oh my God, we got to make a change here. And we did. So I was immediately able to see people are rage clicking on my converting page and then navigating away from it. I need to I need to figure out exactly why that's happening. And then I knew that I had to test this flow, and I was able to come here with a hypothesis in hand and run a small 5-person study, just not to come up or look for a pattern, because I already had a pattern. I just needed the validation. I just needed to confirm my hypothesis. And the moment I had that, I was like, all right, now I have an actionable insight that I can immediately implement to better my situation. And that's where the two data come together. Hey, Craig, always great talking to you. I'm excited to have people use it. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a data nerd too, so this is a great way for me to throw this thing out there. I want it to be stress tested. I want people to put it through different scenarios on different pages, and that's only going to help us learn. And let me just say one last thing in terms of learning. The AI engine is truly a self-learning AI engine. So once you put it on your site, we have these initial parameters for these user frustration markers. But as the data keeps coming in, this is why I'm excited to have more people put their data in here. The frustration markers are going to learn and adapt to make sure that they're more accurate, and they're better at telling you or defining what causes frustration or what frustration looks like for your users on your site, as opposed to just a general definition for frustration. And that's really where things start getting even more interesting. So I'm excited to have people use it. You can check it out at trymyui.com/stream. Yeah, please join the beta.